Welcome to Kickin' with the Rickens, redefining retirement. Gerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost want to help you retire with purpose and live with joy. Find more information, including how to reach the team, in today's show notes. Now, Kickin' with the Rickens, powered by Ricken Financial.
And we are here with retirement planner Heidi Ricken Provost alongside licensed insurance professional Gerry Ricken. Thanks so much for kicking with the Rickens this week. My name is Mark Owens. As Big Voice just said, get all the information about Ricken Financial. You can find it here in the show notes. And Heidi, Gerry, if you're okay with it, I just want to jump right in. We've been having a good conversation for the past couple of weeks about some of the biggest myths and misconceptions in retirement. Can we jump right into the next one on the list?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Here's a myth. Social Security is going broke, so I should take it as soon as possible. Why is that a misconception?
Well, you know, Social Security has been going broke for several years now, Mark. In 1983, the trustees report said in 1984, it will be broke. So what do? We increased taxes in 1983, and now we've done it again in 1993. So there are a lot of changes that have happened with Social Security over the years because the funding has just been not there for the amount, and they didn't really forecast that all these baby boomers would be taking Social Security. Well, they forecasted, but they didn't plan for it. Mm-hmm. So yes, Social Security is in jeopardy of running out of money, according to the trustees report. Do we think there's going to be a change in Congress that really fixes and addresses that? Yes, we do. Why do we think that? Because over 60% of Americans live on Social Security alone in retirement. So it's a huge part of our economy. It's a huge part of our GDP. And we would have lots and lots of people on poverty without Social Security. So we do believe that is going to happen.
Okay, here's the thing. Mm-hmm. That part of your statement is correct. Okay? That Social Security is broke.
Yes.
It's a broken system.
Yes.
We're all aware of the fact Social Security is a broken system. Here's what's wrong. Taking it now is not going to fix the issue.
Exactly.
We've had so many people come in and they'll say, I read that if I take my Social Security benefit now, I'll be grandfathered into it and I'll be good. I don't know where on earth you read that statement, but that is not factual. That is based on some person who had no idea what on earth they're talking about, writing something on the internet. You may as well have used Wikipedia to write your term paper. You know, there is no such thing as grandfathering in or taking your benefit now so that you're guaranteed to get it for the rest of your life. We're all in the same boat here. Why would you maybe want to wait to draw your Social Security benefit? Because every year you wait between your full retirement age and age 70, you're going to make a guaranteed 8% on an annual basis, plus whatever the cost of living adjustment is. If you need more guaranteed income for your family and you want to get the most out of the system that you paid into all of your working years, taking Social Security benefits early, probably not going to be the best case for you. But, you know, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. Every person we meet with is going to have a different answer for when they should draw Social Security benefits, when their spouse should draw Social Security benefits, and we need to look at it from a family unit. So, you know, like everything else, this isn't all one-size-fits-all, but just please know there is no such thing as like grandfathering yourself into the system or anything like that. But there are a lot of articles out there that say that nowadays.
And just because someone at work is taking it at 62 doesn't mean you should take it at 62. As Heidi said, it's individualized, it's specialized, it's like a fingerprint. Everyone is different. Every situation is different. Your income needs are different in retirement than anyone else. So you need to look at it that way.
And are you having a different conversation with adults who are 45, 50, 55 about Social Security than you are with the adults who are 65? Does that conversation change?
Yes and no, because, you know, there are sometimes you meet with someone who's 40, 45, and they're like, I don't know if I'm going to have it in the future. So can we make sure that I have a layer of protection written into my plan in case I don't have that extra income? And you know what? Maybe that's fair. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? None of us have a crystal ball here. But, you know, if you're close to retirement age, most people think you also need to draw Social Security benefits the day you retire, and those don't have to go hand in hand. So without a full plan picture and a retirement plan, it's hard to make that decision. So yeah, I mean, each step of the way, we're having different conversations because we're in different phases of our life based upon what age and working year we're in.
Heidi just mentioned retirement plan, and income planning is part of that a crucial part of that retirement plan. And part of income planning is Social Security timing and planning. So there are a lot of layers in just getting to the end of your retirement plan. There's a lot of building blocks, and the building blocks depend upon what your needs are.
I'm glad you brought that up, income, because as we talk about some of the biggest myths and misconceptions in retirement, one that you often hear is, you know what, Heidi, Gerry, I'll just spend less money once I retire. How is that a misconception? She snickers.
Well, a lot of people think that because, okay, if you've been working 40 something years and your mortgage is almost paid off, and in the back of our minds, we always think like, okay, well, mom and dad retired on less.
Right.
And so I can do it too. And that's how retirement works. Everything changes on a daily basis. And if you want to maintain your lifestyle that you had in your working years and your retirement years, you're probably going to spend more money. Here's the other thing. If you spend 40 plus hours a week clocking in, working, that's 40 hours a week that you don't get to do something fun. You don't get to go out to lunch with your friends. You don't get to spend time with the grandkids and maybe spoil them a little bit. You don't get to shop, because Saturday and Sunday is the day you shop. If every day becomes Saturday or Sunday, do you really think you're going to spend less money?
And the answer to that is I don't think you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And to a person, all of our clients say, oh my gosh, we're spending more money, especially in the early part of retirement, because they want to do the things that have been bottled up and they haven't had the opportunity to do. So they're doing more of that up front. And that's why we talk about the go-go years and doing it while you can, and we structure those plans that way, because the income that you need, and let's not forget one thing out there too, folks, there's something called inflation.
Yeah.
And inflation will hit us whether we're working or whether we're retired. Inflation is something that's uncontrolled, but we can schedule our income plans to keep up with inflation as well. As you get into retirement, your costs are going to be more because of inflation. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing. You're in retirement. Maybe your mortgage goes away. But during all your working years, did you have the time to go to Europe for 2 weeks?
Mm-mm.
Did you have the time to go on a cross-country road trip, driving on Route 66? All the things that you want to do, that's why you worked so hard, is so that you could retire and do the things you want to do. And when you have the opportunity of time, a couple of things happen. Either you might have too much time on your hand, and we have conversations with people that say, I just looked at my Amazon bill and I'm spending too much time sitting on the couch, just doom scrolling and ordering random things and just blowing money on dumb stuff, or, oh my gosh, we have had so much fun on this trip. We booked the next 4, which is awesome, because when you have the opportunity and the time to do it, we want you to do it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you think, okay, this bill will go down, the kids will be off the payroll, all these things, don't you want to spend some money on yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And most people do.
Yeah, you've scrimped and saved and sacrificed and really done without for a long time. Why not do with?
Yep.
And doing with is knocking those things off that bucket list.
Oh, yeah.
So make the bucket list and check things off the bucket list.
Go live your best life.
That's why you've saved money.
Yep, that's right. All right, one more for you.
Give yourself permission to spend it, please.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. And real quick, I'll say my mom is a prime example of that. When she retired, now she's spending more money, not on trips, not on things for herself, on the grandkids. And she said point blank, she said, I used to spoil them on the weekends. Now I get to. I don't have to. I get to spoil them during the week as well. So yes, it is a myth that you're going to spend less money once you retire if you have grandkids and you want to be the coolest grandparents ever. All right, one more for you, talking about myths and misconceptions. Retirement planning is just about investments.
I will, if I've said it once, I will say it 1,000,000 times. A 401k is not a retirement plan. An IRA, that's not a retirement plan. That's an investment. And investments alone are not a retirement plan. They're simply the means of where you saved to then be able to utilize it in your retirement. Let's break down what a retirement plan actually is. Yes, it includes the investments, because if you didn't save any money for retirement, you might not be able to retire. It includes income. It includes health care. What's our plan for health insurance? What's our plan for long-term care? What's our plan for life insurance? Do we want to use the living benefits of life insurance? Do we need it for our death benefit? What about our estate and our legacy? And do you need a trust or a will? And how is that going to work? How much money are we spending? And how are we going to cover all of that? And then we need to tie it up with this beautiful little bow called tax planning. And if your investment does not include all of that, you have an investment, you don't have a retirement plan.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a retirement plan, it needs to include all of that and what your plan would be to mitigate all of those risks you're going to be facing in retirement. Otherwise, you don't have a plan.
That's right. And a lot of people just do believe that I'll be fine because I have a 401k or I have my investments. Your investments are just the tip of the iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
And each person is different. Each couple is different. Each family is different. Your goals, your wants, your desires, everything that involves your life. How do you want to spend your days in retirement? Would you like to have them less stress or more stress? And if you want less stress, you do a comprehensive retirement plan that lays everything out and really maps out what's going to happen. And as time passes, your retirement needs pass and they change. So it's a living and breathing document that lives and breathes with you and changes as life changes, because life does change. It just isn't all, rosy and we just roll along. There are, on that Route 66, there are some detours you want to take, or you may have to take because there's a caution ahead. So we want to make sure that you have that opportunity to just adjust, and we make those adjustments with you.
And here's the thing. If you don't have a full service plan that can help provide the purpose you want in your retirement, that will help you figure out what your withdrawal order is of the assets that you've saved for retirement and where you're going to pull your income from. And does it make sense to take your Social Security benefit now or then or in between? And what about my pension? And where am I going to get my income from the other sources? And how much do I need to forecast for my inflation? And what if I need a new car? Where is the income going to come from for that? What if we want to downsize or right size or upsize the house? What if we want to take more vacations? What if I need long-term care? What if I have a health crisis? Where does the money come from in that point in time? What if I have a surprising income tax bill because I didn't do planning for that? There are so many what ifs. What if something happens to me? I pass away. I want to ensure my family doesn't have to go through probate. All of those what ifs need to have a plan in place that, yes, can change as your life changes, but you need a starting point to plan for it. And that's where a retirement plan comes in. Because if you don't have that, we're creatures of habit, and sometimes not for the good. Sometimes as human beings, our brains are just wired in a way that if money hits the bank account, you spend it all.
Yeah.
If Joe down the street says do this, we do it. Sometimes we get in our own way, but you need to have a plan for if that habit gets broken, because we're not in control. If I have a health crisis, it's not because I chose to have a health crisis. It's because it happened, and I need to have a plan in the background of how I'm going to mitigate that and handle it. If I need long-term care, if I never talked to anyone in my world about what kind of care I would want and how I'm going to cover it, what on earth is going to happen? And the fear of the unknown usually cripples us from making decisions. So if you can put some of those unknowns on paper and say, okay, if this happens, here's kind of what I think I want to do to handle it. It can make life so much easier so that you do get to retire without the financial stress, because, there's enough stressors in our world nowadays.
Yep.
We don't need to add stress into, am I meeting my risk tolerance? Where's my income going to come from? How am I going to cover taxes? What about my health insurance?
The reason you retired is to eliminate stress.
That's right.
So, we talk about this retirement plan. Well, what if you don't have one? give us a buzz. You know, we're always available to help you here at 314-207-6211 or over at rickenfinancial.com, because that's what we do every single day. We're going to put the purpose approach together for you that's going to handle all of those ins and outs of that retirement plan we just talked about. You know, am I matching my risk tolerance with my investments? Is my income going to cover me? What about my health insurance, my long-term care, my life insurance, estate and legacy planning, and tax planning? You know, if we can put together a plan for you and do so effectively on a complimentary basis, might I add, then we would love to put the purpose approach together for you so you can mitigate a lot of those risks in your financial future.
And you can find all that information here in the show notes, how to reach out to the team at Ricken Financial. And as always, that initial consultation, no cost, no obligation. I think that's a good place to hit pause for this week. We will continue this conversation about the biggest myths and misconceptions in retirement over the next few weeks. But for now, as always, Gerry, Heidi, thank you. Thank you for the information and the education. We are back next week. But before we get out of here, take us home.
Every day is a holiday.
Life is short. Laugh hard.
This has been Kickin' with the Rickens, redefining retirement.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Ricken Financial LLC. Ricken Financial LLC is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Ricken Financial LLC are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Ricken Financial LLC is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Ricken Financial LLC.
Please remember that converting an employer plan account to a Roth IRA is a taxable event. Increased taxable income from the Roth IRA conversion may have several consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA.
Tax preparation and tax advisory services are offered through Ricken Financial. These services are not offered by IPW and are not subject to investment advisor requirements. These services referenced are an outside business activity not offered through or supervised by IPW.